Hey, moron! Hey, moron! Duh! Look at me! I'm the waterboard, dude!
Ah, boy. Good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the Funky Chicken back here. As always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. It's sad for me today. You know, I've had my daughters here, my niece and nephew and their mother and things. Had all the holiday food and everything. Got up early this morning and cooked a red brick breakfast. Oh my God. And in case you've never had a red brick breakfast, man, we had bacon, sausage, ham, potatoes, scrambled eggs, some fruit, and of course we had waffles with some of the syrup that we brought back from Vermont. And man, I tell you what, I just had a small plate. I didn't go all ham on it, okay, like I did on Thanksgiving. Trying to save a little space. I got to lose some of this weight because I'm getting to be a fat ass. But we have the Dallas Cowboys not playing this weekend because, of course, we got the victory over the Giants on Thursday with an opportunity for the team to heal. And, of course, have a betting guide, rooting guide, if you want the Cowboys to make the playoffs. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. We're just trying to win a game. Well, if the Cowboys can find a way to get a win against Cincinnati, then you have to start looking at that. And here's where you want to root for the Bills. The Bills over the 49ers helps our cause. So that's one game that would definitely help us. Another one would be if the Saints go marching in and march all over the Rams, would definitely help the Cowboys in their playoff situation. And we're going to do what we always do, which is root for anybody playing the Commanders with the left hand up that are licking their wounds after getting mollywopped. Well, they didn't get mollywopped, but getting beat by the Cowboys, by the lowly Cowboys. So we're going to be rooting for the Tennessee Titans over the Commanders. And, of course, we're hoping to shut, and I mean shut, the Eagles. I'm so sick of listening to Eagle fans that already are counting their tickets for the Super Bowl. I keep saying pump the brakes a little bit. You know, you got the quality win over the Green Bay Packers season opener, but I don't know that, you know, I mean, you beat the Commanders, but hell, we beat the Commanders, so what does that say? I don't know that you've had some great wins there yet. If you beat the Baltimore Ravens, then you'll impress me, but in the moment you can.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
That's what you Eagle fans can do. And don't forget, today, 5 o'clock Eastern, we'll have our members chat. We didn't do our live stream last night, spending more time with the family and things while they were here, because you got to enjoy the time that you have with them. All right, so here's where we have the good and the bad. We have DeMarcus Lawrence. Jerry Jones, of course, thinking that he might play on Sunday night, although Mike McCarthy said to tamper the expectations of that, you know, he's still rehabbing and stuff, but he is nearing return, which is kind of amazing because it seemed like you just forgot. It's, DeMarcus Lawrence, I forgot about that guy. So he will be making a return sometime in the very near future, giving the defense another boost. And, you know, here's where we have to start looking at it and saying, the Cowboys are beginning to get some real studs on the defense. You know, you're seeing actually Carl Lawson, who has come along and is playing really, really well. I believe he's got 3 sacks in the last couple of games. Getting Micah Parsons back, much maligned Micah Parsons, who a lot of people said trade him, get rid of him, but you are seeing what Micah Parsons can do. You are also seeing Overshown, Agent Zero, the guy who should have the number 0. Rowdy, give it up. Well, it'd be nice if Rowdy, for the first time in his life, spoke and said, I am giving you the number 0. I anoint you the 0. And then he just shuts up. and just shuts up. That's it. And you're actually seeing, believe it or not, Mozzie Smith. Mozzie, who's got 31 tackles on the season, playing better than what people say. I'm going to have to take something back because a lot of people kept saying what I need to do with Dan Cilio is say Mozzie Cilio. And it's like, don't listen. Don't put Mozzie in with that stank of Dan Cilio. Mozzie's doing more than what Dan did right now. I'm just saying. Prove me wrong. So you're seeing that defense coming along. You get a DeMarcus Lawrence back there. That's going to really help that defense. That maybe this team can be led by defense going forward, and they're able to actually start using Rico. Surprisingly, the Cowboys made the mistake of, kind of screwing over with Rico when Rico is truly our lead back, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. Surprisingly, he averaged more yards per carry last year than, God, I'm literally having a brain fart here. Tony Pollard. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely you're looking at that situation. Now, the bad news, of course, is that Josh Butler, he did tear the ACL. He is out for the season. But Wanye Thomas looks like to be a 2 to 3 week. It looks like he's got a meniscus injury, which will be a lot easier to work with. So, there you have it right now. We want to hope for the 49ers losing. We want to hope for the Commanders to lose. We want to hope for the Rams to lose. And, of course, we always want the Eagles to lose. Now, here's where it's interesting, and I'm curious because I have, in the last couple of weeks, even before Micah got back on the field, I had said that it seems like Micah Parsons is having some growth this season. A lot of times, it's what I always say. It's, when you've got money, you got lots of friends. When the times are good, everybody wants to be around. It's when you have the tough times that you find out who the real friends are. When you're broke, when you're down, when you're injured, that's when you find out, okay, this is a real one. And I think Micah Parsons, starting out the season, after, the first 3 years of his career and thinking about getting the big contract and everything else, and, being one of the players talked about for Defensive Player of the Year and things, that everything had been, kind of easy for him. And then the beginning of the season kind of started out ugly. His podcast, having Big Play Slay on there, that kind of blew up in his face. And then having Diggs on there and basically throwing Dak under the bus and stuff, and getting injured. All of a sudden, it wasn't like it had been the first 3 years. And he started going through a lot of adversity. And you started seeing how his podcast was evolving or devolving, I don't know which one you want to call it, where he got away from having guests on there and more or less, being probably, I guess, maybe a little more boring because, you weren't getting the trash and Dak, you weren't getting the yuck ups with your enemy and things like that. You're getting more real football talk and him seemingly more towing maybe the company line more. I don't know if I'm putting it the right way, but definitely him changing. And I want to go back to about 2 weeks ago because he went on, the last time he had a guest on his podcast, he was talking about saying we're a good team. And the folks at ESPN, of course, they went off. So let's go back and revisit this.
Okay, let me throw to this soundbite because I've been talking about it all morning long. The words you were about to hear actually came out of the mouth of Micah Parsons after a game in which his team got obliterated. His team has lost 6 straight home games and trailed by at least 20 points in every one of them. That's the first time that's ever happened in NFL history. And despite that, Micah Parsons on his own podcast yesterday said this.
I love the context.
I'm going to put this out there. We're a damn good football team. I know the scores ain't showing it, and I know obviously people feel like we got so many missing pieces, but I think our defense is really turning things around. Like, up until that last quarter when they got that touchdown defense, we only really gave up those 2 touchdowns in that first quarter. But other than that, we gave up 6 points in the other 2 quarters.
That was the Eagles game.
What is that, 20 points?
Trayvon Diggs.
That's 20 points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
I mean, we locked down at 20 and in a couple quarters. Before the fourth quarter. We locked them down at 20? That's our crazy. What's the number?
On that. How was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Diggs didn't co-sign either. Diggs kept frozen face.
I'll say this, that I think I recognize something in there that, like, cornerbacks specifically have to have, is that delusional confidence. Because if you can go into work on Wednesday morning thinking we stink, that's real hard. So, like, if I give up a touchdown, it's real hard to then go back out on the field like, I'm not going to do it again, unless you delude yourself into believing that. No. So, like, it's a strategy. Yep. Saying it into the microphone is a bad idea.
No,
but you have to, like, why would you go to work if you're like, man, we stink, this sucks?
So, in 2016, that's how I knew my career was coming to an end. It was the first time in my life I would go into games, in the pregame, be warming up, look across the field and say, there's no way we're going to win today. The moment that happened, I'm like, oh, it's done. I'm out of here. I'm too logical at this point. So I agree that delusion is necessary, but it also should not be said into a microphone because we can hear you. Those are inner thoughts. Don't get them to us.
Here's the problem. Someone needs to cut Micah's mic. And I'm being dead serious. Because yes, it's not just DBs, it's not just defensive players. Every football player, to do what you guys did, you need to have some level of delusion. Every single snap, every single game to play this game, you have to be delusional on some level, right? But to say it in the microphone after these types of losses, after you have missed time, after week, you have a podcast that is great, wonderful.
Wow.
I love the content. But to say the types of things like, we're actually a good team. We're literally, like, your head coach is hanging by a thread, bro. Like, your defense, like, you guys are missing pieces. Deron Bland has been missing all season. DeMarcus Lawrence is gone. Your quarterback, all of this. This is, it just blows my mind. Cut the mic, because everything that's being said right now sounds crazy.
I disagree.
Read the room.
Turn on the mic.
Turn it louder.
Increase the gain. I don't want to miss a word. I appreciate Micah Parsons saying this, and it's fine. Like, no one's hurt by this. This is the confidence that I think that you should have on the
Let
team.
me ask you a serious question, though.
Sure.
Because so much is made of the sort of, what did you call it, a telenovela that the Cowboys run there, and Jerry Jones likes that and keep us in the conversation even when we're bad. I get all that part of it. But if you're a player on that team, Jeff, I'm looking at you because I sort of know your mentality. And your team is 3-7 and you're getting killed. And you have one of your teammates on a podcast. I'm just going to put this out there. We're a damn good football team. And if it wasn't for the 2 touchdowns we allowed at the beginning and then the other one we allowed at the end, we played 2 pretty good quarters on Monday night. Like, how would you feel about that?
No, we would have a conversation. You've lost your mind.
Conversation.
Yeah, we can't say that on TV.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we would.
Let these hands.
Yeah, this is it's a level of crazy, right? And I get it. It's like, to your point, everybody's got to get themselves ready to go play. But to Kmart's point, your coach is going to lose his job. Like, there's going to be massive, people, not just him, but and I say this not halfway jokingly, but it's facts. When coaches get fired, players get fired.
Yeah.
A lot of his teammates are going to lose their job.
Right.
And
he's not one of those guys.
Yeah,
Right.
he's not that guy. So it's easy to sit in that chair and say those things when you're not worried about what's going on. But everybody else, like the pressure is building for all of them. And these aren't just losses. These are embarrassing losses. And to say that you're a good team after you've been embarrassed the most of any team in NFL, I mean, in Dallas franchise history.
Micah misses the context.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's...
Like, that is what is most frustrating about listening to him, because he doesn't read the room. He doesn't take in the full context of what is happening before him and after him.
The culture of that team is one that we've been critical of.
Right.
And you need a leader, a veteran guy who is going to call people to the carpet. Like, I've been in that situation. I've been on both sides and the wrong side of it, where after a loss or after I didn't play well enough, I show up on Wednesday with a smile on my face. Somebody is going to say something.
Absolutely.
Someone's going to confront me. And that's the thing that sets the culture. And when you look at that team, like, Dak is hurt and he's not that personality type. Who's the guy on that team that's grabbing people up by their collar and making it real uncomfortable?
Right now, it's Micah.
Like I mentioned, I've been on both sides of that. And that is how you build and sustain a culture, is you hold people accountable. And they don't have that.
The D in Big D stands for disdain. I think that's the way a lot of the guys probably feel about it. We'll get back to them as we go. But speaking of disdain,
Okay, so the question is, was Micah Parsons right? And all the guys on, all the talking heads and all the shows that went through and said, he's crazy. Can you believe that he's saying that they're a good team? I'm not going to say that they're a great team or a good team and stuff, but they are playing better than they were. They're playing better than expected with the pieces that they've lost. And finally, the Cowboys literally were at a point where they really had nothing to play for, and the team could have cratered out of control. They could have started feeding against each other. They could have rallied against the coach. They could have been, destroying each other, but instead they still stayed together and are at least playing better. And that says a lot about the locker room, that the locker room was never lost. Now the question is, can they get enough players back to try and make a run? To do that, what we are going to have is we're going to have a team that's going to be led by the defense. We are going to need to get these pieces back, get Diggs back out on the field, get DeMarcus Lawrence back out on the field, and be able to get into quarterbacks' heads and start making them make mistakes so we get the ball in some short fields and get extra opportunities. I've got no delusion of thinking that this team is going to do incredible things, but I remember this team starting off 3-5 and winning the NFC East. And tomorrow, if the Eagles lose to Baltimore, that doubt could be coming back in their head where they started out 10-1 and fell through the cracks. You think about where Green Bay was last year. I believe they started out 3-5 and made the playoffs and ended up mollywopping us on the road. Football is a strange lover. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and roll up out of here. And we'll be bringing you up to speed with everything that is for tomorrow. And don't forget, 5 o'clock Eastern, we have our live stream. As always, I appreciate you.
Disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck. I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. Kill them.
Oh my goodness! Did he say they cock it on them?
I hate the style of defense.